uh, alul malsils menyading nga solar eclipse.
I don't understand.
Okay, whether it rains or does
Well,
it happen regardless whether it's sunny day or rainy day?
it's gonna I mean, it's the moon and the sun and the earth. The eclipse
Okay,
is gonna happen whether or not a local cloud will block our view of it.
okay.
It looks like it's been pretty dry weather, so but of course it always depends on the weather. But if there happens to be a cloud go by like 5 minutes to two, don't panic because
Mm.
you can still see the crescent shape anytime within that hour. So you go to some place that's sunny or just wait for the cloud to go by and then you'll be able to see something interesting.
So pretty much we can just go outside the yard
Yeah, but
at
don't
two
look at the
o'clock.
sun. Don't
Okay.
do not look directly at the
At,
sun because even when the sun is eclipsed, the ultraviolet radiation can burn and scar your retina, and
wow.
you'll have a crescent shaped scar on your eye for the rest of your life and a
Oh,
blind
yeah.
spot on your eye. Do not look at the sun. The best way to observe it is in the shade of trees. And you can
Okay.
practice if you go out in the shade of a tree and there are lots of little um, pinholes, spaces in between the leaves where the light comes through. If you look on the ground, you see lots of circles on the ground. Those are images of the sun. And during the eclipse, those are all crescent shaped. So that's the best way to observe it is to look in the shade of trees or make patterns with shade with your hands and have little holes go through because all those little images will be crescent shaped. And that's the best way to observe the eclipse.
And then you so recommend ka direct do mesringi, but can we use cell phone or even video camera malara directly? Will it affect?
Maybe I don't know what the intense rays of the sun will do to your camera, but
Okay.
you can try. It's better than damaging your eyes. Uh, there's you can also use a welder's mask.
Okay.
You know, the welder's
Mm-mm.
mask has got a strong enough filter so you could see that. But don't just use regular sunglasses to look at the sun. That's not
Or
enough
about
eye
the
protection.
polarized glass? Will that no
I wouldn't
even?
want to risk you want to be able to see the
Okay.
rest of your life. Don't
Mm-mm.
don't risk it.
Okay.
Yeah, but uh, just look in the shade of trees, and you can practice by going out between them and see what the images of the sun you see in the shade of trees before then.
Since you're gonna be here Thursday, do you think it's possible? Like, right? You're coming back Thursday
No,
for the talk
I
show?
teach school. I'm going to be at
Oh,
school in Ibobang. I'm going to be
okay.
teaching the students there.
I had a misunderstanding. I thought you come and talk about it today, and then Thursday you're gonna come back again. So I said we can do a live video, and then you
No, not
explain.
unless you want to come out to BMS. No,
Oh,
I teach school, and
all right.
I'm going to be teaching my students at BMS how to see the eclipse. We're going to have an eclipse
Okay.
party out there, um, but you don't need me. You can just look in the shade of the trees.
Yeah. But we need you since you're an expert in this area. No, I'll check my schedule, and then if it's possible, probably I'll drive to Matpang
Well,
around 2 p.m.
well, that'd
Then
be
we'll
cool.
do and then we'll do
Yeah,
while you explain it to the general
sure.
public.
Just talk to my principal. But
Okay.
I get to be here today because today is a school holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, usually I'm teaching school every morning from Monday
Right.
through Friday, but this happens to be a BMS school holiday,
Holiday.
so I got to come in
Okay.
here and talk
Yeah.
to you today.
Thank you for your time to come and explain it. So this happens twice a year.
Twice a year there
Okay.
are eclipses, lunar
Mm.
eclipses and solar eclipses, but it's a very narrow path. It's not everywhere where people get to see. And often lunar eclipses are in the middle of the night. People don't want to get up and watch
Yeah.
them. But
Mm.
the eclipse 6 months ago was in the evening, so it was a really good time. That was a lunar eclipse when we could see that and the stars came out.
So the whole region gets to see it. Papua New Guinea, all
Ha-
around the world.
half the world
Half of the world. Oh,
that's
okay.
having night gets to
Mm-mm.
see the lunar eclipse. But the path of totality of a solar eclipse is only a few hundred miles wide, and the totality only lasts a few minutes. Long ones are like 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Now,
Okay.
this eclipse is what they call a hybrid eclipse, meaning part of the path of the moon as it goes over the earth part of it makes an annular eclipse, and part of it makes a total eclipse. That's because, well, what do you call the path of an object around the sun? Orbit?
Orbit?
Okay.
Okay.
What is the shape of the orbit?
Circular or
Well, that's what Copernicus thought, but he was wrong. It's an oval, it's an ellipse.
oval? Okay.
Have you ever heard somebody talk about a supermoon?
No, I've heard of red moon,
Yeah,
but
the
not
red moon.
supermoon.
Because the path is an ellipse, sometimes it's a little bit closer and sometimes a little bit farther away. And when the moon is a little bit closer, they call it a supermoon because it looks bigger.
Okay.
But if the eclipse happens when the moon is a little bit too far away, then it's an annular eclipse. The moon will be centered with the sun, but you'll have the bright sunlight all the way around it. When there's a total eclipse, it's when the moon is closer to the earth and it completely blocks the sun. Well, this is a hybrid eclipse. When the shadow first is crossing around the Indian Ocean, it'll be an annular eclipse. And then it'll change into a total eclipse, and the totality will pass over Western New Guinea, and then go south of Palau, and then to Koshrai, and then it'll return to be an annular eclipse at the end of the eclipse path.
Wow. I saw you put a piece of paper there. Are you going to do like a demonstration
Yeah,
later
I
on
wanted
or
to show.
so?
Should we do that now?
Yeah. Let's
All right.
see.
So I brought my husband's fishing flashlight, and we'll turn that on to be the sun.
So the flashlight represents the sun?
Yes.
Okay.
And I cut a hole in a piece of paper to represent the moon during the eclipse. Do it this way.
Yes.
All right. So there's an image of the moon, and then we use a pinhole effect or a lens to change it, to look at it and project it on a piece of paper. So you get a crescent shape, but the crescent shape is the opposite direction because path of light goes each way. So this is what you'll see with. You got that?
I'm sorry. Can you do that one more time?
So here's the moon, and then we put a lens in front of it, and it moves the image the other direction. It reverses the image, just like your eye turns the image upside down. Just looking at the world upside down. Your brain turns the image right side up. So any pinhole, like the hole of your hand or the leaf of a tree, will act like a lens and turn the image upside down. So the path of totality is going south of Palau. So it's going to be the bottom half of the sun that gets blocked. And when you use the image, it'll be the crescent shape will be pointed, the points of the crescent will be pointed north. So it turns it around.
Interesting.
Yes. So I hope you remind people this week. All right, so the image on the left is what the moon will look like at 2 o'clock. The moon will be partially eclipsed by the sun. And the image on the right, I downloaded from the internet. That's the path of totality. The pink line down the center is the maximum solar eclipse, and it misses Palau. If you've got a boat and you want to sail down to where you could cross the totality and see it that way. But it just makes landfall on Western New Guinea and then Koshrai.
Wow.
And the closer you are to path of totality, the more the moon will be blocking the light of the sun. But during the eclipse, the light will look really funny. People will notice that even if it's a sunny day, the light will be dim outside. And if you go outside in the sun won't feel hot anymore. And there's a dim light, kind of like when a cloud goes by, but the edges of the shadows will all be really sharp. It looks very different. And you might understand how people who don't know about eclipses could be frightened. Oh no, the sun is being eaten by a dragon. But if you understand the science of it, there's no need to be afraid of it. It's a natural occurrence. And we know the orbits of planets very well, so we know we can predict easily when there's going to be an eclipse.
So then the next eclipse that will take place will be 6 months from today,
The
and then
next,
6 months thereafter.
yes,
Every 6 months.
about every 6 months there's
Okay.
going to be an eclipse. Anytime you want to know the eclipse, just Google, eclipses for your, and it'll tell you the map path of the eclipse and the time and the date and who can see it, and it's all very well known.
Okay. Are there any like superstition connected with eclipse that you know?
Oh, there's
No.
there's always superstitions, people who are afraid, who don't understand what's going on. But those of us who know can just enjoy it. I got a science question for you.
Okay.
How many days in a week?
7.
Yes, why?
Okay. From biblical perspective and my faith, that's because.
Well, there were 7 days a week before they wrote the Bible. But why 7? Why not 5 or 10? Because the ancients didn't have TV or radio or internet to entertain them in the evening. So they used to go out and look at the stars. And they noticed that there were 7 things between the earth and the distant stars. And they thought they were gods, so they honored each one day of the week. Sunday, Moon Day. If you look up Tuesday, it's the god of war, Mars. Wednesday is the tricker, Mercury. And Thor's Day, Thor is the Norse god of thunder, which corresponds to Zeus and Jupiter. And Frida Day for Aphrodite and Venus. And Saturn Day. That's why we have 7 days a week.
Amen. I just believe we have 7 because that's what's written in the book, in the Holy Book. But thank you for that insight.
Have you got any more questions?
I guess not. So if you want to add some more, because you're a student and who was supposed to interview you?
She got
I don't know
busy
if
doing
she's
something
back,
else.
but she got. Oh, but
Yeah.
you said that what you shared today, you posted it, or it was
Yeah, I
printed
wrote.
in the Masikimu News
Yes,
later?
I wrote an article and I
Okay.
sent it to PCC, and they published on the April 7th issue of Mississippi News. So if you stop by PCC, you can get a copy of the article, and it's got this same picture that you showed there, the path of totality, and the picture of the eclipse, and the article explaining how to observe it through with a pinhole.
Did you send? You mentioned you sent it to PCC. Did you send it also to the media outlet? For example, newsletter.
I've been talking to all my
Tiabelao?
friends about it. I sent a copy of the article to MOE so that I asked them to share that with the principals. I hope all the students go out and see it at 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon.
But it's not in Tiabelao or the Island Times.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
If they want to talk to me, I'd be happy to give them the information or forward the article. It's already been printed at the PCC newsletter. I just hope everybody learns about it, because free light show,
Yeah.
free wonderful thing to observe of nature and appreciate the cycles of the solar system.
Amen. Maybe we should, because I know you like music, so we should probably a student to compose a song about.
Sure.
What do you think about that?
Write a song about the moon and the sun.
And the stars.
Yes.
Anyway, I thank you for your time to come and explain to us.
Well,
here
it's
about.
my pleasure, and if anybody has questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Do people like call up to
Yeah,
this place?
we can actually spy. But by open ralan, so if there's anybody who's watching and they may have questions for Lorraine, teacher Tellei, you may call 488-3477, and we'll be happy to entertain your inquiries. Again, nagsumtang nga ada lomes, ya korang nga niya karir, girel tial solar eclipse, tiang mo ngaringira 2 p.m., right?
Yes.
Erul klokra on evalu Thursday, nga niya mutul garmiul girel, ako makailom sodel, sabi ulo magdong ra, adeng warang rel vela ra 488-3477, Can they call you directly at your phone number or call the school if they have questions? What's your
Yes,
number?
the my cell phone number is 775-1046. But of course, I teach school in the morning, so please don't interrupt my class. But you can call me in the afternoons, and I hope that you really advertise this on Thursday at between 1:30 and 2:30 on Thursday afternoon. Keep saying, "Hey, everybody, out, go outside and look at the
Look
sun,
at this
look at the
partial
eclipse
solar
going
eclipse.
on." Yeah, because it's fun. The eclipse on 2 a.m. May 6th is just a penumbral eclipse. It's just the moon will get a little bit dim, but that's nothing spectacular. The solar eclipse is spectacular.
Okay, halang ang kagita caller mahal ang kalo ko nga niya kril.
Kay Kalimay.
Okay. Mututa caller, kalme krib.
That's a very good question. Solar refers to the sun at the new moon when the moon is blocking the light of the sun. Lunar refers to the moon, so when the Earth's shadow is on the moon, that's a lunar eclipse. That happens at the full moon. I hope that answers the question.
And its occurrences are every 6 months.
Yes.
We can
yes,
conclude
because
that.
the moon's orbit is inclined to the Earth's orbit. So sometimes the moon's too high, sometimes it's too low, but twice a year they line up.
Okay.
Okay, so you usually get a solar eclipse 2 weeks before or after a lunar eclipse. Yes, but solar eclipse happens during the daytime at the new moon, and a lunar eclipse happens at night during the full moon.
Okay, we hope Lorraine am longer sel krimi e caller el su kumandia kan dir sa mutlo magdong.
Asumti ka suam lang mo ya caller hindi sa bel. 4883477 asum nga niya kramiwe. Sa ilmo ko tong may. Okay.
Again, yading wara a teacher Lorraine 775-1046. Hindi ngolingit luwasen dia kam call ringira during school days. Can they call you after work? But
Well, they can call me in the afternoon,
oh, in the afternoon.
but I'm
Okay,
teaching
okay.
classes in the morning. So I
Okay.
just-
Hindi kita mlaway sila sensei ito na magdoring sel afternoon. Hindi dia kal tutaw lengoli sakla. Again, nga sensei rabelaw modak ngay school. Bi ilam legyo kay ululi sa akra sa elementary ram legyo. Lo sensei rami senti el angguk malingita aklangaringim lamo 3 years.
I've been at BMS for 3.5 years, yes.
2.5 years ra BMS. Spy nga niya ako rakadimit, kaya kita time ko radim ran mong malsukum
Hindi ako kurat ya
karime
kang.
po the lutun mo olgi ngun sa Lorraine malanga niya ko final commentary ngin ko raklam Elmore adra lomes low
Oy.
ice.
Tiang ko ating ngil mang ngidel caller ating leon del caller eh. Pati kango to.
Okay.
Caller nga niya kramiwe, nga niya kramiwe yung si logger. 4883477. Hindi lang kagikuk mamsat ti alang kal maas. Nguk mo museo al osmila program gid.
Wesing ka ko ramal excited sel domes ringi mga leri gid wase kado ice ra adal wase nga niya solar eclipse ra partial solar eclipse ra Thursday. Okay, one more question. Tial the climate change that it ngora nga niya effect ringi how ngara ko ra tele lingi ma
Climate
solar
change has got
yeah,
nothing to do with these eclipses.
Okay.
Yeah. The two main influences people have had on the climate are increased carbon dioxide making global warming and the CFCs attacking the ozone layer. And those are two different issues. Don't mix them up.
Okay.
The problem with the ozone hole has got nothing to do with global warming. But there's a whole nother conference going on right now. I'm always teaching about that too. But that's going on downtown someplace.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lorraine, we thank you. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I haven't seen you for a while. Ikaw tiyak maldir ka, dir ka masisi. sisi of the game, same smile, same face. Di ko lisak so giman mo rin asulem ra ka contribution ra kaon mo ra
Well,
a school. You must
it's my
love
pleasure
teaching.
here. I love teaching,
Mm.
and to see my former students.
Oo,
I see them at the stores, and Zoe is here at working for you guys.
And speaking of Zoe, Spider, Zoe nga ra front. Zoe, al sugum ko rin sa May.
Yeah,
So she was your student?
she was my student. She was at my first year. She was a senior the first year I was there.
Okay.
Yeah. But, no, maybe she was a junior.
Mm,
I've
mm.
had so many students over the years, and I won Teacher of the Year.
Oh, yeah,
I got the ring.
Why say, yeah?
I got second place last summer, but in
Mm-mm.
2014 I got first place.
Man.
Yeah.
And you're probably the first, sabi dal wasi ka foreigner Peace Corps may olis aklem lawin ra. Kung kora diya ka ngot alugod ng lim lawin ra Teacher of the
I
Year.
think you're right.
Oh,
The first American to have won the Palau Teacher of the Year for the
see.
national. Yeah, and I've won the school Teacher of the Year 4 times.
Oh, lek.
Well, I
That's
know
a
how to
ve-
fill out an application.
Yeah.
That's half of it is knowing how to fill out the
I
application
see,
and telling people what they want to hear. I mean, being
Mm.
honest, but still, you know how to answer their questions. It's
Uh-uh.
kind of like a job interview. But,
Yeah, malungil. Very happy to see you. And Mr. Kaya, madingil wasing you still have that love, the passion. Impart ay gal knowledge ka ma-insight ka mura angal ra school. So when we were kaning sabi ilgukwas gagi na lulisak ka nga Teacher Lorraine.
yeah,
Ka mga adu at Torbela for those
yes,
who
I've
don't know,
madingil
was
Torbela.
ka madingil Torbela.
Oo.
Oh.
But
Wow.
I teach not only science, but at BMS I get to teach sewing too. Like I sewed this dress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've got sewing
Ole
machines
kang.
there, and I get to
Mm-mm.
teach sewing, which I love being creative and making stuff.
So asel moras mo. Tiya nga
Yes.
kukpisa dira tapig ra solar le title tiya nga
Yeah.
for
I do
solar
lots
eclipse.
of different things.
Patsel moras me ka kadyo ba imam ko spe amsil or both.
Both, but
Both, eh?
mostly it's machine sewing because it's nice to have the
Okay.
equipment. But yeah, I do all kinds of things. Like I designed the house that I'm living in now in Melikyo.
eh?
Studied
Wow.
architect, and I play guitar.
So you're like a Chucky, not Chuck, but Chucky of all trade.
Yes,
Almost.
like a medieval person doing
Yeah.
many different things. Bake
Yeah.
bread and
Gisa la sumbang ngaramdal tilang meme sa teacher ka raw era bodol musum. Pai dengeng ngara front. Kami Lorraine sa agisa la amles officially starter el alsil selo urior ang rel belaw agisa Ernest Zoe engkang amlet ra student ra Mrs. Tellei mong tial host nding gay amle girel interview niya kuk mlar niya sugul mentilov de ya ko la seng mlamen dia isa la sugum korreng seng ara front te mem mon musum ra sense bo the close ra sure gid Spider. Nag-isa nung ang front.
Ale kita nga ra amelidiul.
Okay. Kamamtial live yang ram ni diule ko ra kakarigir ng kagit gisa lan dil sugu mendiak eklutel mo ngutial al time at ale eklutel mal meringa suliar bekla adam no sob ilo rengs ra tial talk show lo kiwa angrel belau tirigel kuk no sob ilo lo mesringi dru Facebook lol bangela to go betsel okya gargidra Mrs. Lorraine Tellei. So at this time yak mo mutil ngwa may gel ngunsang mo mang simre mo kung ay gel ko ra last el klamel mal ubeng ko ra ukswal shell mergidar audience.
yes. Well, I hope everybody goes out and observes the eclipse on this Thursday afternoon, April 20th, between 1:30 and 2:30 p.m. The maximum is at 2 o'clock. And I especially hope that the children, all the students, get to go out and see that because, the last time there was a partial solar eclipse here in Palau was about 8 years ago. I mean, they're rare. Someplace there's never been a totality that I know of in
Okay.
Palau. Personally, I'd like to go to Sydney in 2028 and see. There's a total solar eclipse that crosses through downtown Sydney, Australia, on July 22nd, 2028. I want to save my money and fly down there because I've never seen totality. Once, about 40 years ago, there was going to be a total eclipse in Oregon, so we went out to Eastern Oregon to
Mm-mm.
try to see it. but we parked in the lee of a hill, and the cool air, because of the shadow of the sun, condensed a cloud right on top of it. So this cloud just condensed above. It got dark and the roosters were crowing, but I never got to see the corona of the sun. So I've never seen a total eclipse, and I really want to. It's on my bucket list.
So you said that will happen in 2028 in Sydney?
Yes, July
Okay.
22nd, 2028 in Sydney, Australia. It's going to cross the whole continent of Australia
Wow.
and go right through downtown Sydney. I hope to be there. And we could go to the outback in the backyard in the deserts, where you'd be sure to get a sunny day in Sydney, because sometimes it's cloudy on the coast.
So although mo total eclipse you say, but here in Palau, 2028 probably just partial.
No, the 2028 eclipse, they won't even be partial here in Palau. The path of the moon isn't that big.
Okay.
So this is going to be the only chance to see a partial eclipse for a very, very long time in Palau.
Wow.
People who've got money can travel around the world, can go see total eclipses. But no, that's why I want to be sure everybody sees it this Thursday, is because you're not going to get another chance for a very long time if you stay here in Palau. Lunar eclipses, happens every couple of years. I think the next lunar eclipse is going to be in 2 years that we'll be able to see here in Palau. But solar eclipse, nah, really rare.
Okay. Okay, with that, Spied, ngagida mlalmut malmo makatakli, المريجيتا تريتيلي la solar eclipse ma lunar eclipse. Again, a number el sepi ul contact ra Miss Lorraine el mutlogera ko makailom sodel a 775-1046. El alsil sing they offer or it's a holiday for
Yes, it's a holy day for the school.
Holiday for the school ma ulmong los el mera talk show and diklugo kolmong you can call her afternoon.
Yes.
Right. Yakam kolong niya tutaw yang masala lolis akla and we'll try our best al check schedule ko mami al sabi LSL Thursday yaku makal al mora BMS el muter recorder ni e kado e mora e ungela igel kora maklol garra say en el mutel mal explain mergida ti al mo occurrence niya morngira Thursday at 2 p.m. el niya partial solar eclipse. With that, Lorraine, me kumtiar bek adra PFM, gibo mo nga sulem ra ati alam lo sa PML mertiang share the insight with us.
Thank you
God
very
bless.
much. It's my pleasure to be here and share science.
Okay, Spider, may ditong more say gid. Ebo don masum ra beklad maguk next por sa ela a Lorraine kata diya kalaw ay sing dibla kay sa asim for you to come anytime.